Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Mark Allen with Gaper.io, and I'm here today with Andrés Londoño, and I'm going to hopefully I get this right from Monet Credito para Todos. Did I do it? Did I get it?
Yeah, it's perfect.
Very wow, cool. I did. I took Spanish
Was
in high
very,
school.
very good Spanish.
I took it in high school. It's been a few years, but I got it right. So why don't we start with, let's talk about, the beginning of Genesis, the beginning of Monet, the genesis of Monet. When was it founded?
So we started the market research in late 2020,
Mm-hmm.
and the company was established. No, the market research in 2019, and the company was established in the year after, so in 2020. And we started formally operations with our current model in 2021.
Wow, you did it all right in the middle of the pandemic. Wow, or the beginning,
Right
actually.
in, yes, yes,
Interesting.
right in the middle of the pandemic.
So what was the inspiration behind starting Monet?
I mean, there's a lack of financial access in Latin America. It's a very pressing problem. Most of the people in the region live paycheck to paycheck, and there's actually no alternative for informal workers. There's a bunch of like solutions for people that are formally employed, but we wanted to crack the system and go and give a fair and easy solution for people when they face any financial challenge, where they need a liquidity to pay a bill or to pay medicines because they are sick, they want sick. So yeah, we wanted just to crack the system and make a product that was easily accessible both for informal and formal workers, and to be a real and a safe solution against informal money lenders.
So would you say you're more like an American bank or an American credit union?
I think more than a credit union.
Mm-hmm. So more like a bank.
Yeah, but I mean, we only roll out loans. We don't actually have deposit services.
Okay.
But yeah, what we do is we offer loans that are accessible for any type of worker of people with a recurrent income. It can also be a shop owner,
Mm.
and we offer them an advance to their recurrent income,
Ah,
an instant advance to the recurrent income.
okay. So kind of between the two, right? You offer some of the
Yeah,
services that credit unions don't, and you're not quite the same because a union is really a group of people that come together and provide credit to each other. So what were the challenges you faced during the early stages? Obviously, one of them was the pandemic.
yeah. No, we had to start the company fully remote, so that actually set some challenges for setting up the corporate culture and how you interact and like how you actually plan to launch your MVP, and then keep track of on the MVP and build on what's actually on what's like on and build on what you're seeing through your tests.
Hmm.
But I think actually the pandemic and working remote help with creating fast processes.
Hmm.
So I think it helps to set the responsibilities and the processes more clearly, because I mean you don't have any face time, and you have to be clear on who has to do what, and then what needs to happen in order to have a successful MVP.
Hmm. And since you started during the pandemic, you had to have started as a remote company. Are you still like all remote? I know you're in a major northeastern city in the United States. Where's the rest of your team?
We have teams scattered through Latin America. So we have team in Argentina, Uruguay, Ecuador. We are actually still a remote company, despite this year we are inaugurating offices, but we are a remote first company, and most of the people are remote. And I think that's also a great format to get the best talent,
Mhm.
despite where they are located.
Cool, very cool. So what were the specific pain points that Monet aims to solve in the financial inclusion sector?
Is access to safe loans when you are normally underserved by a bank, and you basically face some problem on emergency. that requires you to pay some bill or have an extra liquidity. So basically, yeah, most of the people in Latin America, they don't have access to formal lending. And we created a way that we can underwrite loans fully based on alternative data without looking up credit scores on this or this traditional source of data that banks normally use for their underwriting process. We actually created a process that relies on open banking, and that's it. We don't care if you have a bad score or if you're reported. We're just here to provide a safe and a fair solution for people that need to get out of a liquidity emergency in their day-to-day life.
Very cool. So what are some of the strategies you employ to tackle these challenges?
So basically, we pioneered in Colombia in the use of open banking data, which I mean, the open banking revolution started around 2008, 2009 in Germany, where they want to be like more transparent and to ease the access of financial information to third parties. In this case, we are looking at transactional ledgers from any digital wallet or bank account in order to detect recurrent income. And with that information, we can already underwrite a loan without relying on a credit bureau. Just the transactional ledger for the users with digital wallet or bank account. And it's surprisingly the extent to where some formal businesses uses actually digital money for their operations, not only in Colombia, not only in Latin America, but also in Africa. There's a lot of digital payments, and people will normally not have this vision about how transactions are settled, also by informal people in developing countries. So we found there an opportunity on only relying on this information and data to make a very easy and straightforward underwriting process.
Interesting. And I personally have never heard of the open banking initiative. So can you explain that a little bit? Because I'm assuming it's unknown to most Americans.
So open banking started as a project to release APIs for accessing transaction in traditional banks. The country that advanced the most in regulations was the UK. They already have a very robust legal framework for carrying out open banking operations, and is something that is slowly coming into the rest of the world. Colombia actually has already a law formalizing and setting up all the regulation for open banking, as most of countries in Latin America, also Brazil and Mexico. So it's something that will change the access of traditional services, because it's telling the banks that the users are the owner of the data, not the banks. So if the user want to change, if a user of a bank wants to share their information on their financial product with a third party to access other type of products, then they will be able to do it with just an API and a simple integration. So that's what's behind this open banking revolution, is empowering the user to the rights of their data that they have in their financial products, and that access to that data also enables to make different products, such as lending products with less constraints and easily, with a more easy underwriting process.
Very cool. It sounds similar to the concept behind Bitcoin. Would you agree? It puts the power in the people's
I
hands, not the
mean,
banks'
Bitcoin
hands,
is
right?
decentralized. Here, still the banks centralize the data and the transactions.
Okay, so there is a big difference. But so tell me the impact on the target audience. It seems like it could be huge, especially those at the bottom of the pyramid that can't get traditional credit, right?
Yeah, it's actually 70 to 80% of adults in the region. So that's I would say most of the market in terms of financial services. And I actually think there is a huge there's still a huge challenge to provide uh, credit access to the base of the pyramid, and it's something that has been proven to improve people's lives. Because some people need also working capital for starting their business, and if you are new and the bank doesn't know, you will not underwrite any loan for you. So I think this type of products are intended to improve people's lives, to help them build their businesses, or to help them just resolve an emergency.
Very cool. And I don't know a lot about that region. Are most of these countries capitalist societies, or are they socialist societies?
Yeah, I mean, in Colombia, yes, the countries we are currently operating in Colombia, and we are now setting up operations in Mexico.
Mm.
So yeah, I would say it's pretty open market.
Yeah, very cool. So, well, let's talk about that now, as long as you brought it up. What's it like running a localized company in Latin America? And you're doing it from the United States, right?
I mean, I'm not alone. I'm actually just running the part of the CFO, but we are still three in the funding group. We have the CEO, and also the COO, which is the chief of operations. And I think since the inception of Monet, we are a fully remote company. So that makes that the processes were built and in a way that is that matches a digital format, and people not actually being present in a physical place.
Hmm. Yeah, well, I think there's more of that going on in the US too, but it sounds like this is a really good implementation of that concept of running a company from somewhere else in the world, right? So what are the unique challenges that, Latin American entrepreneurs face? Because we obviously entrepreneurs in the United States, have to go in front of a bunch of VCs to get capital. So what are the unique challenges in Latin America?
Yeah, in Latin America, there's fewer VCs where you can choose from. I
Really?
think there's a lot of VCs that have a geographical restriction to their investment thesis.
Hmm.
So when you're trying to build also in a developing market, the alternatives for funding are different, for sure.
Hmm.
And but I also think you have lower cost, like because cost of life is cheaper in Latin America, so cost of running a company is also lower than as the US, where salaries are higher.
Hmm.
But yeah, I will say there's also a lack of financial means for building up companies, because also the market is smaller, and there's not such much focus from the large like VCs or funds that are tackling these geographies.
Yeah.
But I think you can also with the right tools, if you have a good idea, you can also thrive in the region.
Yeah. Well, and you've mentioned a number of countries already. I mean, I assume you have to deal with, the laws of each country to do business, or is that not true?
I mean, that's the thing about the digital economy and the startups. There has also been other startups that solve that problem. So
Mm.
I think there's companies such as On Top and Deal that
Hmm.
allow you to navigate contracting people anywhere in the world. So I think innovation is just here to make life easier. Just as in like Monet, we are making life of the base of the pyramid of low income workers easier by providing them emergency capital for facing their challenges that may appear in their day to day.
Hmm. And what lessons have you taken from building and scaling a startup in Latin America that you could share with other people that might want to do the same?
I mean, you have to be very perceptive, but I think it's the same as in any latitude. You just have to push your idea very hard and believe in your idea, and fight for it, and I think it will eventually realize.
Hmm. Very cool. And I mean, obviously you had seed funding, or you had funding from someone, right? So what were the challenges encountered for you during your funding stage? Right?
I
Because
mean,
you were you couldn't be one of your own customers because you're in US.
no, I mean, we were lucky enough to be selected in Y Combinator. because of our innovative approach of using alternative data for underwriting loans and going directly to consumer. So I think being in an accelerator program helped to rise the seed round, to get the first users, like to providing the proof of concept, to provide that you have a market product fit. That's actually one of the most important things on thinking on how to scale. You actually need to have a product that has a demand that makes sense in the unit economics, right? So I think that seed capital was pivotal to our company. And from them, we have been able to partner with great institutions. We're actually currently partnering up with traditional institutions, with some incumbents, because we can help them tackle a segment of the population that they normally overlook. But probably there's some opportunities also for the incumbents to partnership with Monet to arrive in and like tackle these customers.
Yeah.
So we are actually now having some help from traditional banks in Colombia. Well, we are basically we are doing a better experience when Monet appears in their apps as the first lending experience their user has. And we have also secured some loans from traditional banks that are helping us grow our portfolio and grow the impact that we are generating in the region.
So are you more like a hey, if you say this client is good, they'll believe you because you've proven that to them?
Yes, and we are actually one thing of our model is that we only do positive reports, so people that pay on time. We never do a negative report to a credit bureau. So actually, we help our users to build and create their credit history. And actually, 30% of our users have been able to, after using Monet, access a loan in a traditional bank. 20% have been able to get a credit card, and 99% have been able to get a different type of service, such as internet at their house or a phone line that they also look you up at credit bureaus. So we are actually helping people build their credit history and then access other products that we are not offering. So that's why also incumbents and traditional companies are willing to partner with us, because we can increase their scope.
Very cool. So you started, it sounded like in 2021, which you really started doing business. So what are some of your growth, the growth milestones that you've achieved, and what are your future growth?
Well, up to now, we have more than 20,000 registered users.
Wow.
We have originated more than 1 million loans.
Wow.
Yeah, and for this year, we want to scale up operations also in Mexico. So we want to very soon surpass the million created users in our app very soon, and go up to 4 million loans disbursed.
Wow. So do you foresee growth as being additional countries or additional services, or both?
Additional countries, actually, with the same service, the opportunity is still huge where we are. So there's still a lot of work to be done to reach more users. We're just launching the embedded experience with third parties. So we are now having this partnership model where we appear in third-party apps as a lending solution, mostly in traditional banks. We are just launching that. I mean, the first experience went live like a month ago. So we are just testing that distribution channel that we are envisioning with already that will be huge. I think there's still a lot of opportunity in the segment we are, but we are, of course, launching new products. So we are developing an in-app marketplace for responsible consumption, where users will be able to use their loan to pay a utility bill or to recharge their phone, because we have seen that these are one of the most significant use of the money we extend to our users. So we want them to facilitate their lives and be able to already pay those services without leaving our ecosystem. We are also launching a card very soon.
Mm,
And we are also thinking on new ways to tackle micro businesses to probably be more of a working capital solution for businesses that are basically run by only one person.
mm, very cool.
That's, I think, a segment that still has been not tackled in the market, and it's a very big challenge on how to profile and underwrite a loan to this type of businesses.
Yeah, it's interesting because there, I mean, I know in the United States, if you're a solopreneur, you're really you're a business and a person. It's kind of a, they're called a pass-through business. So I don't know if it's the same in these other countries, but generally the person is the business. Is that, would you agree with that?
Yes. Yeah, and normal and oftentimes they're not even formally established. So we want also to provide a line for working capital in order to help them scale their business, formalize, be they're partnered with growing their sales. So
Mhm.
that's also, I think, a new business line that we're gonna venture very soon.
And generally, what is the largest size company you would actually do business with? Right? When, like, I'm assuming you wouldn't do business with a 1,000 employee company, right? But where would you kind of say is your sweet spot?
No, actually we are currently making partnership with big banks. I mean,
Oh,
with the embedded experience model, we are more of a business to consumer. But I mean, we are appearing already in the largest digital wallet in Colombia, where they have more than 4 million active users per month.
mm,
And we are already gonna be embedded into their digital app
mm.
for providing loans through that channel.
Oh, that's very cool. That should increase your volume a lot, I would think.
Yeah,
Cool. So we've talked a little bit about open banking, but what are some of the challenges and opportunities associated with open banking?
I think it's democratizing the access to loan. It's democratizing the access to financial services. It can also help with anti-money laundering and corruption, actually.
Mm,
My first experience with open banking was as a policy student in Berlin,
mm,
and we actually analyzed open banking as a mean of preventing corruption within governments. So because the whole idea of open banking is making more transparent the financial transactions and empowering more the users of their financial data. So I think it can democratize and give more of an overview of how you're using your financial products, and that in the end will mean that you will be able to access different products that are currently not available for some segment of the population.
mm. Well, and now let's talk about your customer experience. Like, let's say I'm a potential customer. I would literally just apply for a loan on my phone.
Yeah, literally. Phone or web. We have both type of apps. We have a web app and a mobile app, and the underwriting process is less than 5 minutes. So
Really?
in less than 5 minutes, if you're eligible to one of our loans, you already will have the money dispersed to your bank account.
Wow. And then typically, what's the payback period on let's just say $1,000 loan?
Payback period is 30 days.
30 days. Okay, so it's a short-term loan,
Yeah,
right?
short-term loan, also small tickets. So
And
we
then
are talking $10 to $110.
okay. And
But that
then
in Latin America is something that can help you exit an emergency.
yeah, we have a concept in the United States called loan sharks, which is illegal. So it sounds like you're putting those people out of business, which is good.
That's what we want to do. We want to provide a safe and a fair solution
Mhm.
against illegal lenders. Yeah, and we want them to go out of business.
Yeah, no, I would agree because I've never had to deal with them, luckily, but I don't know if you know, we have a lot of they've been shown in a lot of movies how they're not very nice people. So just out of curiosity, another thing is, since you're concentrating on Latin America, have you ever thought of going to other parts of the world that are underserved, like Africa and areas like that?
I think for now, for now we're just launching operation in 2 countries. That's like still a small fraction of the region.
Hmm.
I think we still have some more market to offer our product here in the region, and then I think we'll take it from there.
Cool. And actually even the United States, there's parts of the United States that
Yeah,
are underserved, very much underserved, right?
yeah. I mean, there's a lot of Latin Americans living in the United States,
Mhm.
Arizona, Texas,
Mhm.
Florida.
Yeah,
So
no,
there's also a huge opportunity in the US just with the Spanish speaking people.
yeah. So I'm just going to ask you one final question to wrap this up. And thank you. This is great. I really appreciate what you're doing because this is a much needed service. Where do you see all of this going in the future, right? This could be huge.
Yes, I mean, we have our long-term plan to do an IPO and actually build a very big company and to help people improve in their financial lives and help our customers build or repair their credit score and improve their life.
Oh, very cool. Well, I wish you the best of luck. It's really nice to hear someone literally helping people change their lives, which is what you're doing, right? And millions of people, correct?
Yeah, yeah, that's our mission.
Very good. Well, I wish you the best of luck with it, and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Mark.